If this is your first time to visit this channel, please subscribe. The lost love, regained, attitude change. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Winston Churchill. The first day at college was quite an exciting one. New place, new friends, new girls, but my love remained the same as I loved her by heart. I used to talk to her after my lunch and she insisted on not talking too long as call charges were quite high and I might feel burdened being a student. About 15 days had passed since I left Jammu. Then one day phone network was not working. I kept on trying to call her but was unable to call her at my fixed time, that is after lunch. But I was receiving her messages. I received message, degree where are you dear? Plus or minus. I tried to call her back but it was not working. It was the same till evening. At 7 in the evening I called her from a PCO booth. She got emotional on hearing my voice and asked me in great desperation, degree where were you? Do you know how much I am concerned about you? I was praying for you to be all right. I was in a fix what to do, how to contact you. Do you know how much I plus or minus? After these words she was quiet for some time. I was touched by these words. There were tears in my eyes. I felt her intense love for me. I replied, degree Dawn. Worry dear, I am all right. I know you care for me. But network was working properly here, that is why I could not call. Plus or minus. She said degree okay, no worries. Take care of yourself. Plus or minus. I was feeling bad for her. She cared so much for me and I had concealed such a big fact about me from her. One day I met a guy from Jammu, Anil, whose sister was Sonia's colleague. He was my batchmate here. Sonia told her about me. The first impression I got about him was that he was a cunning and selfish, but later on I realized that he was a practical and experienced guy who had gone through all phases of life. Soon he became a good friend of mine. Sonia often talked of his sister's strict nature. Once she called me and said, degree do you know what your friend's sister has done? Fatty girl. Plus or minus. I replied in a low tone as I was also fatty, degree what? Plus or minus degree she interferes in all of my matters, I will not tolerate this thing. Give me the phone number of her mother. I will ask her what she had taught to her daughter plus or minus. She said angrily. I replied degree dear Dawn. Be so aggressive. Why will you talk to her mother? Dear, official matters should be dealt with in office only. She might me right in her place. I do not like this on your part. Whenever you are angry just hold your fingers tight and your anger will vanish plus or minus. She took a sigh of relief and said degree I think you are right and I was overreacting, but if somebody does wrong to me I will not forgive him or her, whether it is she or you plus or minus. She said angrily. These words scared me a little bit and I thought what would happen to me when she would come to know about the reality. That day I came to know about her aggressive nature and disliking for fat people. I was feeling insecure as I was also fatty. Her aggressive nature was also a cause of concern to me. It's strange that a person who himself was aggressive wanted to make efforts to reduce the aggressiveness of other person. But I was no longer aggressive. It all changed when she came into my life. A person goes through a lot of changes when he or she is in love, and I was also experiencing the same. It went on like this. She trusted me and I did not have the courage to tell her the truth. One day I messaged her, "Dear, it is becoming difficult to live without you now. What can be done? Plus or minus?" She replied, "What can we do? It can be done by our families only, plus or minus." I messaged her again, "But I want to share something with you and which is very important. Plus or minus?" She asked, "What? Plus or minus?" I replied, "Dear, I have muscle-related problem and treatment is going on. Plus or minus?" She took a long pause and I messaged her again, "What happened, dear? Plus or minus?" She messaged after a few minutes, "What can I say? I am very much worried on." Hearing that, I don't know what to say, plus or minus. I again messaged her, "Dear, do you love me? Plus or minus?" She replied, "I don't express my feelings, but I have feelings for you and that's why I am very much worried, plus or minus." I messaged her again, "Have your feeling changed on knowing that about me? Plus or minus?" She replied, "I have feelings for you and it will always remain. If my feeling change, then God will punish me, plus or minus." I was shocked on hearing that. I once again realized how much she loved me. I replied back, "Don't say such things, dear, plus or minus." At that time I was in abysmal love which cannot be explained in words. I don't find the words to explain it. I thought about her only and nothing else in the world. I felt that the love is not with physical aspect of a person but it is with the soul, and it was true in my case, as we had never seen each other but we had abysmal love and care for each other. I started respecting her even more. One day she called and said, "I am very much afraid today, plus or minus." I asked, "What has happened, dear? Plus or minus?" She replied in a low tone, "There is a proposal for my marriage, he is a sub-inspector in police, plus or minus." I was shocked and asked desperately, "What will happen now? Plus or minus?" She said, "My mother is forcing me to marry that guy, plus or minus." I asked, "What have you decided? Plus or minus?" She replied, "I will outrightly reject that proposal. Let's see what happens in the evening, plus or minus." I was quite upset on hearing that. I didn't know what to do and what to say. She called me in evening and said, "I was praying to God for whole day that my mother rejects that proposal, otherwise it will not be good for you and me, plus or minus." I wanted to cry. I was thinking if something adverse would happen, then what? I tried hard to hide my feelings, but she felt my anxiety and told me not to worry. That night was sleepless for me. I was worried and felt as if someone was taking something, which was very dear to me, away from me. It was unbearable. That night seemed to be as long as years. I was in abysmal pain which is difficult to describe through words. People off in my life. I questioned myself that why it always happened to me. Next day I called her, "Dear, what your mother has decided? Plus or minus?" She replied, "Last evening I told my mother that I will marry a police personnel. I don't like them." She was very angry over that, but she cooled down later on. I remained disturbed and kept on thinking what to say to my mother, but somehow I managed that everything would be all right. After all, I have to decide for my future and I know better what is good for both of us plus or minus. I took a sigh of relief and said, degree okay dear, thanks for trusting my love plus or minus. Now I was sure that she would do anything for my love. This strange love story went on, and with time I became more possessive for her. In an Indian society, a girl is subjected to so many restrictions which a boy doesn't have. She was not allowed to go out in late hours, and whenever she had to go somewhere, she had to give explanation for that. If she talked to someone on phone, had to give the whole explanation about the person with whom she was talking. This shows the disparity in our society which is still there. My possessiveness for her increased, and whenever she could take my call, so many questions would arise in my mind that where she was, with whom, etc., etc. One day I called her when she was at home. It was Saturday, she was with her relatives. She did not take the call. I tried nearly for 20 times. Finally she took the call. Told me about the presence of relatives at home. I insisted on her to talk to me, but she refused. I messaged her, degree dear, I am feeling very tired today, something is happening to me. I don't know what it is plus or minus. She didn't respond to that. Then I concocted a story so as to make her feel that she had done a wrong thing by not answering my call. I wanted to make her feel that it was not fair on my part, but I did that. I messaged her late in night, degree my heart is paining very much, I don't know why. Plus or minus I did send the same message 3 or 4 times and then stopped sending messages. Next day my plan went on as I had desired. She called me from office 5 to 6 times, but I didn't respond. Then she called from 2 other phone numbers, but I didn't respond, as I knew that these were her calls only. I wanted her to be worried about me. In the evening I messaged her, as I thought that was enough for her, degree dear, I was in hospital last night. Something happened to me and my friends took me to hospital. My heart was paining very much plus or minus. She didn't respond to that. I realized that I had done wrong. She loved me so much and I had been making stories to hurt. I called her so many times, but she didn't answer. The next week was very painful for me, as she didn't attend any of my calls, and I thought I deserved that. I had done wrong to her. It was too hardening for me, as I had never been ignored like this by her. Not a single day had gone without talking to her since I met her. I met her in February, and it was October now. But how selfish and cunning I was, as I hurt her by concocting a story of pain in my heart. I didn't realize at that time that a girl was bound by so many restrictions at home and she had to abide by them. I was in love with her, but I didn't know what to do, as she was not answering my calls. I was so sad those days and used to cry loud at night. Talking to her was a part of my daily routine, like eating and breathing. I felt as if there was a void in my life. After a week she responded to my call and said, degree listen Samir, I don't want to talk to you plus or minus. I asked, degree why dear? Plus or minus. She said, degree I have some family compulsions plus or minus. I said, degree I am sorry if I have hurt you, but please don't do this to me plus or minus. Then suddenly a story erupted in my cunning mind. I had heard that a girl was always jealous of other girls. I told her, dear, I met one of my dear friends, we were in same class at school. And she is now a dentist in Jammu. She was my best friend at school and we have very good family relations also. Plus or minus. The trick worked, she asked in a low tone, where was she for all these years? Plus or minus. I replied, her father was in army and now he has retired. Now, they have settled permanently in Jammu. I got her contact number and we talk daily. When we were in school we were best friends and my friends often thought that there was a special relationship between both of us. They used to tease us by calling us as lovers, Jodi, made for each other. Some people were even sure of our marriage. Plus or minus. She took a pause and asked, do you call her daily now? Plus or minus. I replied, no, I don't. Rather she calls me daily. Plus or minus. In an emotional tone she asked, does she love you? Plus or minus. I replied, maybe, but she is only a good friend for me. Plus or minus. She again asked, do you love her? Plus or minus. I replied angrily, shut up, I love only one girl and that is you. Do you know how much I have cried during last week when you did not respond to my calls? Do you know how much I love you? Plus or minus. She replied, I am so sorry but I was annoyed with you. Something has happened in my family also which I will tell you in evening. Plus or minus. Then she cut the call. My trick worked, I was very happy over that. But there was a guilty feeling in a corner of my heart as I had lied to the girl who trusted me like anything. But at that time I was very desperate for her. I wanted her to be back in my life at whatever cost it may be. I knew that it was wrong on my part to concoct a story about a girl who never existed in my life. But I was satisfied that I had lied for the sake of my love for her. After all, it is said that everything is fair in love and war. She called me in evening, dear, I was very angry with you. Plus or minus. I replied, I know I didn't respond to your calls that day, but I was not in a good condition that day and had to go to hospital. My heart was paining very much. Doctor said that any delay in treatment would have been risky to my life. Plus or minus. I lied, with so much confidence that she had to believe that. She replied, oh, really? Plus or minus. I replied with confidence, yeah, I was thinking about you only. I wanted to share my pain with you, so I insisted on talking to you. Plus or minus. She said, okay, but I didn't know that the situation was so grave. I was angry with you as you kept on calling me knowing the fact that there were relatives at my place. You must try to understand the limitations of a girl. In spite of me feeling sorry you were angry and didn't respond to my calls. I thought that you don't understand me and my limitations. Plus or minus. Then I replied with confidence, dear, try to understand me. I was not well that night. I wanted to talk to you only and share my pain with you only. I did not tell my family about this. Plus or minus. She said, it's not right. I know you trust me, but you should have told about it to your family. You should take care in future and promise me that it will never happen again. Plus or minus. Degree okay dear, I will and promise you that it will not happen again plus or minus I replied. Degree one more thing, last Sunday my uncle came to our place and scolded me for rejecting the marriage proposal of police personnel. He also tried to make me realize that I was doing wrong to my mother by rejecting that proposal. My mother was also badly hurt and was in tears. She wants me to marry soon so that she is able to fulfill all her responsibilities. She is left alone to take care of us after the death of my father. I thought that I have some duty towards my mother also. So I was trying to put an end to our relation plus or minus, she said. I replied, Degree dear, I will take care of you and your mother, your responsibility are mine also. I love you very much. Plus or minus. She said, Degree I am also sorry for not attending your calls and neglecting you, I am sorry, 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 sorry. Plus or minus. Okay dear, Dawn. T.B. I love you, I love you, I love you, plus or minus after saying that I was lost in her dreams and had a sound sleep that night, almost after a week. So my plan was successful and went as desired by me, but I was feeling guilty for having lied to the girl who trusted me so much and believed in my words. It was my second lie. I kept on sending messages to her and called her daily. She had kept my messages hidden in her mobile and were locked with a security code. One day her sister asked her about the security code, but Sonia resisted giving that. On it her sister cursed her a lot and asked her mother to marry her off on the pretext that otherwise she might bring disrepute to their family. She told me about the whole episode. I advised her to delete all the messages sent by me. She said, Degree why? I will not. Plus or minus. I said in a serious tone, Degree dear, they will force you otherwise to get married very soon, which will not be good for both of us. Plus or minus, she replied in a childish tone, Degree can I come to your place? Plus or minus. I said, Degree why not dear? I love you. Plus or minus. She asked, Degree will your family accept me? Plus or minus. I said, Degree dear, ours is a very nice family, they will be very happy if you come to our place. Your sweet voice and laugh will make it a heaven. Plus or minus. She replied, Degree my sister always keeps an eye on me. I don't like that, I have my own life and if you are with me then what is the problem? Are you? Plus or minus. Degree yeah dear, I love you and I will always be with you plus or minus, I replied emotionally. One day she went to the place of her cousin's fiancé. She had lunch there and called me. After lunch, she said, Degree dear, I am at the place of my cousin's fiancé. They all are forcing me to visit his friend's place as they want me to marry him. He is an Air Force plus or minus. I asked, Degree will you go there? Plus or minus. She replied angrily, Degree are you mad? I have taken the decision and no one can change my decision plus or minus. Degree what you have decided? Plus or minus, I asked with a little smile. Degree you know better and if you do not stop asking such silly questions, I will not talk to you plus or minus, she said. I laughed. Plus or minus okay dear, I am joking. What did you say to your relatives plus or minus, I asked her. She replied, Degree I simply said that I didn't want to go there plus or minus. I respected her for trusting me without even meeting me. Now I was sure about one thing, that she really loved me and could go to any extent for me. But I was not sure if it was right or wrong on my part and felt that I was playing with her feelings, but I was scared of losing my love. I was not sure how could she react on seeing me. But I had trust in my love. One day Sonia called me and said, "Degree dear, I am feeling guilty as it was not good on my part to conceal the truth from my family. My mother trusts me and I am hiding the truth from her. It is not right, plus or minus. Degree, what can be done dear?" Plus or minus, I asked her. Degree, I will tell my brother about you and he will meet you in December, is it right? Can you meet him dear? Plus or minus. I replied hesitatingly, Degree, okay, as you wish, plus or minus. Degree, I think it's not right to hide our relation from the family. I am feeling very guilty. Plus or minus, she said. Degree, we love each other. If we are doing it for our good and long term, then we are not at fault, I think. But if you want to tell this to your mother, then it is okay, plus or minus, I said. Degree, no, I will first talk to brother and then he will try to convince my mom, plus or minus, she replied. She did not have any real brother, but she had a school friend whom she considered as her brother. Degree, but what will I tell my brother, that we have never seen each other, isn't it strange? Plus or minus. I asked. Degree, so, what you have decided? Plus or minus. Degree, I have decided to lie to my brother and say that we met in university. I know it is not right, but how can I tell him that we love each other without even seeing each other? Plus or minus, she said. Degree, okay, as you wish, plus or minus, I replied. Degree, okay. I will ask him to meet you in December because then you shall be here for your vacations. Take care, bye dear, plus or minus. Then she cut the call. Now I was feeling very anxious and worried about her reaction when she would come to know of my health condition, and now it was certain because she was going to ask her brother to meet me. It was sure that she would get hurt on knowing that, as I had concealed this from her. I was thinking that she trusted me and I was playing with her feelings. Till now, I had been living in a hypothetical world, but now I realized the seriousness of our relation. But it was my nature to take everything easy, so I didn't think much about it. I was convincing myself to let the things go on like that and not to worry about future repercussions. I was sure to handle the situation. However, I asked many questions to myself. Degree, how will she react on seeing me? Plus or minus. Degree, is it right to hide the truth from her? Plus or minus. Degree, is it right to break the trust of a person who loves you so much? Plus or minus. Degree, does true love care about the looks and physical appearance of a person, or is it simply a philosophy? Plus or minus. Degree, is it right to tell her the truth and lose my love, or is it right to act as a traitor and conceal the truth? Plus or minus. Degree, how will her brother react on seeing my condition? Plus or minus. Degree, does a person like me do not has the right to love someone? Plus or minus. Degree, is love is only for the able-bodied persons and not for persons like me? Plus or minus. Degree, will she respect me any more on seeing me? Plus or minus. Now, I was out of my virtual world in which I was living for the last 10 months. This incident shook my emotions and forced me to think about the life without her, as I was sure that she would not be with me on seeing me. She was like any other normal girl in this world and not a unique one. That night was sleepless for me, and for the first time I asked God that why He allows pain to His creatures and why He does not create able-bodied persons only, and why had He chosen me only to bear all this pain. I was in tears, due to not only the guilty feeling but as well as the fear of losing her. But I was also satisfied that at least someone loved me, be it for few months only, but I experienced the love. What is love? Everyone has one's own interpretation of love. Some feel that it is nothing but simply infatuation, some others feel that it's fun, still others feel that it is an emotion. The left others feel that emotion plus sex is love. But how can a person interpret it without feeling it? My interpretation of love is in following lines. Love is the feeling which can never be explained but felt. It brings a person to a new height and at the same time give a person abysmal pain for which no antibiotic would be there. Some people say that to possess your love may not be love, but if you don't get your love you would also be a lover. But if you don't possess your love, then was it the true love? If you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's yours forever. If it doesn't, then it was never meant to be. Love for me is eternal feeling which can be diminished with death only. Love can be done only once and rest is just life. That's true. True love never fades. It will remain as young as a child. When you see your love, the glare of Taj Mahal would be less than that. It seems strange, but that's true. Everyone must taste love once and must be strong enough to bear the pain. It's really hardening. In love, person can learn many things from his beloved. The famous Urdu poet Mirza Ghalib has rightly said about love, Degree ishq nahi nasanit na tisams lije, akag ka darya hai our dub ke jana hai her possessiveness. For me, when you are in love you can't fall asleep because reality is better than your dreams. Let's move back to the story. The life was going on with a lot of excitement. Every day I was experiencing something new in love. One of her cousins was going to get married soon. She used to talk to her fiancé in the evening at every alternate day. It was the day of her cousin's engagement ceremony. She called me in evening. Hi dear, do you know I am with my cousin and today is her engagement ceremony? I replied, okay, that's good dear. She said amazingly, her fiancé is so smart, slim and handsome. I was astonished. On seeing him, I asked, why dear? She asked, are you also smart and handsome? I replied in a low tone, yes dear. I was shocked. She was comparing me to her brother-in-law. That's natural human tendency, but how could I react to that? I was not at all slim. I was fatty. I was thinking that she had lots of expectations and what would happen the day she would meet me. Whole of her expectations would dash to ground. But how could I tell her the truth? I was again in a dilemma what to do and what not to. She frequently used to tell me about her cousin's fiancé. I could never react to that. One day when I called her, her cousin asked her that who had called. She told her that it was her friend's call. So she was in the process of telling her family about me. It was the mid of November. She called me. Who are you? I replied, I am Sonia S. Samir. She said, I am her sister, not Sonia. How do you know Sonia? I replied, I love her and want to marry her. She asked, how did you meet her? I replied, I love her, she was my friend's friend, and we have not seen each other as yet. But it was Sonia only. She said, Don, ever say this thing to my sister or any other member of my family? Tell them that we met in university. It seems strange that we love each other and have not seen each other as yet. Everyone would make fun of our love. Whenever you happen to talk to my family, just tell them that we met in university. It's a lie, but we will have to do that so that our love is not laughed at. Generally in love, two people meet each other and then fall in love, but in our case it was totally different. We had never seen each other, still we loved each other by heart and loved each other's voice. She used to talk to her cousin's fiancé and discuss with me everything about her conversation with him, and every time asked me a question, are you also like him? Generally, the girls compare their boyfriends and husband to others' boyfriends or husbands. Whenever she found him wrong on any account, she used to ask me whether I also do the same, and if my answer was yes, then she tried to make me amend the same. One day she called me and said, you know, my cousin is trying to call her fiancé for last few hours and his phone is busy for such a long time. What can be the reason? Any guesses? No, dear, how could I? I replied. He might be having a girlfriend, so busy with talking to her. I will have to tell about it to my uncle so that he can reconsider about marriage, she said angrily. No dear, he might be busy with some work. Don jumped to any conclusion in haste as it may affect their relation. I said, poor girl, she is in trap of that guy, she said angrily. Why are you thinking negatively, and you seem to be a very narrow-minded girl? I said, oh, mind your language, you are also like him, you might also be having a girlfriend. If it really happens, then I will kill you definitely. She cut the call angrily. I was stunned on hearing that, but also felt secured that she was possessive about me. Definitely she was little bit narrow-minded, had also started drinking occasionally, which was known just to my friends only. Next day I called her and said, how you are dear, and how is your cousin? She is fine. Yesterday you stopped me from doing a foolish thing, I am thankful to you. He was really busy in his office work, that is why his phone was busy. Thank God, I did not do that, otherwise no one could forgive me ever. She said, with a sigh of relief. You should always take suggestions from me. I replied with smile. Okay. But tell me one thing, do you drink? She asked with suspicion. What? Are you mad? No one in my family drinks, and none of the previous generations have ever. I replied angrily. Okay, but you know my cousin's fiancé drinks so bad, she said. Yeah, it is bad to drink, I said in a low tone. But the scene was totally different. I used to drink on weekends with my friends, and I kept it secret from my family and from my beloved Sonia also. Things kept going on like that. I used to make plans with her for our life after marriage. We frequently talked about that. Here I want to share something. It was my examination time in December. I was preparing for my examination next day. She gave me a missed call, but I didn't respond as I was busy. Then she called me and said, where were you? Forget me if you don't want to talk to me. No dear. Tomorrow is my examination, so I was preparing for that, I replied. But don't forget me, I am also important to you, she said emotionally. Okay dear. What's going on? Have you taken dinner? I asked her. Yeah, take care of yourself, she said. Okay, when I will be with you, you will take care of me, I said. Okay, but I would stay at my mother's place after marriage. I would marry you, if you agree to it, she said. Okay dear, I will allow you to go to your mother's place on weekends. So you can be with her for 2 days a week. I said. No, I will go for 3 days a week, and daily after my office hours I will go to meet my mother first and then will come home. Is it okay? She said with a cunning smile. I agree, I will tell you everything after marriage, I replied. You might change after marriage and will forget all this, it happens in every love marriage, she said. Do not worry, I will keep my word. I replied. But I feel scared on the thought that if our marriage does not happen, then what will I do? She said emotionally, and then she cut the call after saying bye to me. I also got little bit disturbed on hearing that this thing literally haunted me. I knew the future of our relationship by my intuition. But I took it lightly and thought that whatever destined would happen. If destiny is to be with her, then we will get married, if not then I would get someone better than her. She was much concerned about me and my health. She asked me to do yoga daily, and used to inquire about the time when I did that. I was not regular in doing it, but I used to lie to her even if I had not done yoga. Here I would narrate one incident, which I think was the worst on my part. She called me at 8 in the evening. Hi Motu, Fatty, how are you? I have called you to tell that Baba Ramdev, yoga guru, is coming to Amritsar next week. You see him there and ask him about your health. Can you go? I got little frustrated and replied, okay, I will, if you insist. I wanted to show her that I was doing so many things for her. I wanted to make her so much emotional for me, as I felt good in that. Thank you dear. I will give you the phone number so that you can contact him. I hope you will get well, and it would be the happiest thing for me in my life, as I will get what I have desired for, she replied in an emotional tone. Janu, don't worry, everything would be all right. I will go there, I replied. Now it was the day when I once again lied to her. I told her that I had registered myself for yoga in Amritsar. On the day I was supposed to be in Amritsar, I did not take her calls, as I had told her that I was in Amritsar for the yoga session. She called me so many times. I was in the hostel with my friend and he kept on asking me to pick the phone. But I told him that it was of my girlfriend, and I had lied to her that I was in Amritsar for a yoga camp, so I could not take the call. I would call her later to tell her that I was busy in yoga camp. After some time I called her. She asked so many questions to me. Hi Motu, where were you? Did you attend the camp? What did he say? Yeah, I attended that and that's why I could not take your call. It was a huge gathering there and Babaji was not approachable. But I had a talk with his followers and they told me about a few exercises. I lied with confidence. What they did they tell you? How much time will it take to cure? Have they prescribed any medicine? She asked. Yes dear, they told me about the exercise only. They told me that I will get well if I exercise regularly, I said. Good, now I will instruct you when to do and how to do. I will watch it on TV. And will let you know. I will call you in evening dear. May God bless you with Good health, I daily pray to God for that. God has not been so kind to me, but if this time it does not happen, then I will never pray. Tell me one thing, you are in Amritsar, but the noise in your background is the same as it is in your hostel. Are you really in Amritsar? She asked suspiciously. Dear, I am in my friend's hostel, and all hostels are the same. That's why you are hearing same type of noise. Do you trust me? I lied with confidence. Yeah, dear, I trust you. She cut the call in an emotional tone. I also got emotional as I was feeling that she cared so much for me, and I lied to her so many times, especially about the matters concerned with my health. I was in tears, but I was also helpless. I was going through a grave emotional phase, so was not able to tell her the truth. Now I felt a new energy in my body. I started doing yoga regularly, though I lied to her, yet felt that if Savitri could bring her husband's soul back from Yamraj, then my problem, not being that severe, could also be cured with her prayers. I was feeling new energy and was optimistic that I would be alright. It went on like that for days. It was the month of December and we had vacations for few days, so I was going home. Usually we talked about our love, but never ever thought of discussing anything related to physical relations. One day while talking to her, I said, "Kiss you, dear Mua." She cut the call. I called her back, but she did not answer the call. When I kept on calling her again and again, she finally took my call and said, "Listen, I don't want to talk to you. You say such things, I don't like this. I am not like other girls." I said sorry to her. I realized that she was a bit narrow-minded, but I still loved her more than anything else. She had a friend named Shivala who was working in the same office as her. I used to talk to her frequently. She used to address me as Baya and Sonia as Bobby. I felt great on hearing that. It was December 2006 and my semester was over and we had vacations now. Before I left for Jammu, she called me and said, "Hi dear, I want a favor from you." Dear, when Shivala's boyfriend asked me about you, I told him that you are studying Masters in Engineering. He was astonished that how could I have such an educated and intelligent guy as my boyfriend. He seems to be jealous of you and also asked me to show your photograph. Can you send your photograph to me? I want to show it to him so that they believe that you are my boyfriend. Please send it at the earliest to me, she said. I did not know how to react to that as I was fatty and she disliked fatty persons. So, I thought of an idea. I took my identity card and scanned it and searched for the Photoshop editor for editing my picture. Somehow I was successful in doing that. I cropped my photograph so as to look slim. It was not right on my part as I was again lying to her, but I didn't want to lose her. I did send her that. Next day she called me and said, "What type of photograph have you sent to me? I don't want to talk to you as everyone made fun of me at my office." I was very much ashamed of that. Dear, I don't have any camera. As you were in hurry yesterday, so I did send that. Only to you, but next time I will definitely send the proper photograph to you. Don't worry dear, I replied. You are a liar, I don't want to talk to you, don't talk to me, she replied angrily. And put off the call. I was feeling guilty as I had lied to her, made fun of her trust, but she was everything to Me and I never thought of my life without her. Days passed and now it was vacation time. She frequently called me on my way to Jammu. I was feeling good. I was at home in the evening. The first thing I did was to message her to tell that I had reached home safely. I enjoyed the meal cooked by my mother. I was eating it almost after 6 months. At around 8 in evening she gave a miss calls on my landline phone for 5 or 6 times. My mother wondered that who was that crazy person, but how could I tell her that this crazy person was everything to me and I have made her a part of my life. I talked to her after that and she said, "Listen, I will ask my brother to meet you in your next visit to Jammu so that decision about our marriage is taken." I was mute on hearing that, as I was sure of losing her when anyone from her family or she would meet me. But still in some corner of my heart there was a faith in destiny and God that this time he would not be so unfair to me, if he existed somewhere in the universe. First meeting with my love. One day she called me in the morning and asked, "Dear, come to your brother's office as I am coming to the bank near that office. I have some work there and also want to see you." Now what could I do? I was thinking in heart of heart that true love never goes by physical aspect, so I went there in an ordinary dress only. At that time my dressing sense was very poor and also I had long hair. I never cared about my appearance. So I went there wearing a simple trouser and t-shirt. As per me I was looking good. She wanted to see me from a distance only. But she didn't want me to see her. I didn't know why. She called me when she was in front of the bank. "Where are you?" "Come out of office." My heartbeat increased and finally I came out. She again said, "I am not able to see you." I sat on a chair there and said, "I am right in front of you, dear. I am not able to see you. Here is only a very fatty man sitting on chair." "Wave your hand," she replied. I waved my hand and said, "I am waving my hand and the man sitting on chair is me only," I said. "What? You have long hair and you are very fat too," she exclaimed. "Yeah, I am," I replied. She angrily put the call off. I was mute for some time on hearing that. My heartbeat increased as I feared losing her. I called her in afternoon. She said, "I don't want to talk to you, you are a liar." Those words brought tears in my eyes. I made a plan. She gave a missed call in the evening but I didn't respond. Next day I messaged her that I got ill in the evening and was in hospital for the whole night. I called her many times but she didn't respond. Finally, she responded and asked me to call after 10 at night. I was very anxious. It was a cold winter night and I was on my rooftop at 10 at night. I called her and her first reaction was very disturbing for me. I was shocked. "You liar, think what you have done, broken my trust. I have decided not to continue any type of relation with you. I trusted you and you have done this to me." Then she started weeping. I was feeling guilty and said, "Dear, I did not intend to hurt you but feared losing you. I was also aware of your disliking for fatty people, that's why I did not tell you the truth. You don't know how much I love you. I will die without you." She replied in anger, "Okay, fine. I agree that you do not want to lose me as you are fat, but you lied to me that you were in the hospital that day but me, Shivala and her fiancé saw you at your brother's office that evening. Don, you think of me and my love for you while lying about these things to me, and started weeping. Again. No dear, I was feeling very insecure after you saw me as I judged on talking to you that you didn't like me, I replied with tears. I don't want to talk to you anymore, this is my last call to you, she said, angrily. I begged her, Don, do this to me dear, I will certainly die without your love. I will do whatever you want. I will lose my weight at any cost, please be with me, I beg of you. I am not so generous. Firstly, I agreed to compromise on your problem, and now, this. I lost my father few years back, I want someone who can support me. This situation is so painful for me that the person whom I loved and trusted has broken it. I want to die, she cried in tears. I beg of you dear, Don, do that, I will also die without you. I will do whatever you want. Please forgive me, I replied. We both were in tears. After some time she said, I need time to take decision and I will tell you tomorrow that what is to be done about our relation and so-called love, and then she cut the call. It was a matter of life and death for me. My tears were unstoppable as I did not know the destiny of my love. Whole night I was thinking of ending my life if I had to be without my love. I was cursing God for everything. Next day I called her, hi dear, how are you? In a very emotional voice. She replied, I don't want to talk to you, you played with my feelings, what I can do. Now, I want to die. No dear, I will die without you, but please give me one more chance, I will reduce my weight in 3 months, I promise. After lot of arguments she agreed, but on a condition that I send my recent photographs to her. I saw a ray of hope. I was out looking for a photographer, and within 1 hour I did send her the photographs. Then I called her, hi dear, did you see the photographs? She started weeping loudly and asked, why have you done this to me? I don't see any happiness in my life. I lost my father, I trusted you after him and you betrayed me. I will not bear this thing, I will certainly die. I was also in tears and asked her, please tell me what has happened. I have sent the photographs to you, have you seen them? She replied, it seems that this is the photograph of any Dracula with long hairs. I pleaded, dear, I will get them cut for you and send you the photographs. Though I am fat, yet I am smart. Smart. Good joke, she replied sarcastically. Okay, I will send you the photograph tomorrow, I said. I never wanted to cut the hair I had grown over the last 6 months. My mother asked me many times to get them cut, but I didn't listen to her and did not want anyone to interfere in that, as long hairs were my passion. But now my love was at stake, so I decided to sacrifice my long-grown hairs. I was very much sad on seeing them cut and falling on floor. I did send my photograph to her. She got relaxed on seeing that and commented, you are looking like a human now, but yesterday you looked like an animal. I got angry on hearing that, but didn't react. I thought that if it is only the physical appearance which matters to her and not my feeling, then my endless love may have no value for her. But I was addicted to her love, her talks, and it was very hard for me to give up that addiction. But I got relaxed that she would be with me after the sacrifices which I was doing for her. She elucidated it one by one, you should keep short hair. You should do exercise and yoga every day. You have to control your diet, no high-calorie food, no breakfast only salad, in lunch only 2 chapatis with curd, in dinner only 2 chapatis with boiled dal. The biggest sacrifice which I made was of tea, as I was addicted to taking nearly 10 cups of tea a day, but as per strict book of rules framed by my beloved, I was supposed to take 2 cups of tea a day, and that too without sugar. For one addiction, her love, I had to give up other ones. The most important of the rules was to send my photographs to her every fortnight for the evaluation of my performance, and then I had to bear the result in the form of her happiness or annoyance, which depended on my performance. I decided to obey the regulations rigorously. When I was about to leave Jammu in a day or so, she called me and said, "Show me the result in 2-3 months, otherwise I would be out of your life." And then, Don T try to make me emotional. "You will have to change your physique. I see many people on airport, but no one looks like you. I want you to be of such a physique that everyone gets impressed on seeing. What about your treatment? Are you going to Amritsar tomorrow for the checkup?" I was little disturbed, as I had lied to her that I was following the advice taken Amritsar for my treatment, as I left following the same 5 years ago. I lied again. "Yes dear, of course, I am going tomorrow for treatment." I was little disturbed with her behavior, but thought that every girl has the right to choose the best for her as her partner. She was trying to do that only. I was also excited that she was taking full interest in me. One day before I had to leave Jammu, my younger brother read messages sent by her, and now my family came to know about her. They tried to ask many questions, but I did not them anything. Next day, I left Jammu at 5 a.m. She called me at 6 and said, "Take care of yourself and follow the diet as I have told you. Also make sure to follow the doctor in Amritsar." Bye. I didn't know what to say, as one problem or the other was there which I had to solve. But I left everything on destiny. She called me and asked, "Where are you, dear?" "I have reached Amritsar, dear, and taking medicine." I lied to her. She got suspicious and asked, "Tell me the distance which you have traveled, and how could you reach there so soon?" I got angry and said, "Why don't you trust me at all? I am doing all this for your sake, and still you doubt me." Then she asked in an emotional tone, "I know you are there for me, dear. You talk to the doctor and then take food. I will talk to you in evening." I was feeling culpable as I had lied to her again, but it was better to lie than to